Anaheim Open 2017. I'm Fox. I'm joined here by Dirk, and we're about to get into FaZe Clan versus Team Elevate. Myself and Landon actually just got finished casting a Game 5 between Epsilon and Luminosity Gaming, where Epsilon was able to come out on top.
Wasn't the prettiest. I mean, I think it's at the point where people are still underrating European teams as a whole, but Epsilon specifically for that, I think a lot of people saw Luminosity should come in with a quick 3-0. But we think back to the Global Pro League, both these guys, they split the series in the Pro League as well. I think it was the map counts were both the same 3-1, just switching opposite sides. So rough one for Luminosity, to say the least. Almost got the reverse sweep, but the Search and Destroy, it's sort of gone back to, they've improved a lot. But now, this event, it's kind of looking a little slow for him.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we saw that Epsilon very easily outclassed him in those Search and Destroys. And in the respawns, Epsilon can 100% hold their own. Especially when you have someone like Dave who's able to put up these insane performances in hardpoint specifically. It's going to be tough to shut him down, even if your name is Octane. Samuel LaRue wasn't even enough to shut this man down in those hardpoints. So getting into this series, though, we have FaZe Clan facing off against Team Elevate. Elevate qualifying for the Call of Duty World League by just the smallest margin. It actually took Rated on this team to have such an incredible series to knock what would be his future team into relegation in favor of Epsilon going through.
Yep, game is underway. It's going to be a breakout hardpoint to kick off this one between FaZe and Elevate. We're going on with Zuma, the man who just had a surgery on his wrist. There was a lot of doubt, wondering if he was going to be able to compete here at MLG Anaheim, and he is here. So we're kicking it off with him, and you see he's going to be able to go down to bottom hut, pick up a first kill already, and FaZe now is in control of top hut.
Zuma trying to get into the shower position here. He knows there has to be someone coming in one of these wall runs, but there's actually two coming in both sides. So he has an engagement here shortly. However, it's not coming in anytime soon, and FaZe is actually sitting pretty on middle map. No one from Elevate has really been able to do too much. As you can see, nearly 20 seconds of uncontested time.
Yeah, Reedy was going on the hunt there in showers from what we just saw. He was able to find one before he finally does drop, but this has been all FaZe to start off this one. Now it's going to be one player positioned over in showers. That's going to be Zuma. He's going to be able to pick up the kill on Desire, but now the FaZe players do need to rotate, and it's all going to be Clayster. It's going to look to try to get the scrap time, but Enable is going to be the player rotating around. FaZe gets the early rotations, are going to have the spawns. You see the top right of the map. All the Elevate arrows are spawning over there. Now the question is, how do you break? And it looks like they're going to go for a 2-2 split.
So Clay finds himself in a good position here to actually stop people on this middle cut, but he'd have to connect with his bullets to really make too much of it. Can't do that. Watson is able to kill him, so now the rest of FaZe is still able to set up in a 3 versus 4 situation with Clay spawning up behind them to make it 4 versus 4. So in the end, it doesn't amount to too much, but that could have been a pretty good buffer for them on this hill.
Off the spawn, Clayster picks up a nice 2-piece to kind of shut that push down from Elevate. That did look pretty deadly. Still 0 points on the board for Elevate, and so far it's just been all FaZe. They're about to break the 70-point mark with still 27 seconds left inside of this cell block hill as well. But now 2 big hills come up. Now this could be the break that Elevate has been looking for, but Attach is going to be able to shut that one down. And now finally we're going to see some Elevate players push into that hill and get some time, but the contestant's coming right back, and it's going to be Enable flying and picking up the nice 2-piece.
So that's really scary if you're an Elevate fan or a European COD fan at home, because Elevate gave up 70 seconds without putting any points on the board, with Reedy at 0 kills, and on the opposite team, Enable had 0 kills up until this point. That's a very scary start to Breakout hardpoint.
Yeah, and this is a good setup that you have here from Elevate. The player that I want to highlight, you pull up the big mini-map, you're going to see Enable going all the way around. What he's going to do, he's going to get into position. They're going to go for that pinch to try to flip the spawns over. You see he's taking his time with it. It's a nice veteran play, not rushing it. Enable coming all the way back is met by a player from his own team. That is going to be Zuma as well. They're going to be able to find one kill. Zuma's going to be there for the trade. Going to be one more to the left, and they're going to be able to get in. And just like that, the patient play from FaZe comes through, and they get the break, and we'll get the final 30 seconds on this hill unless Elevate can get another break.
That methodical play right there is exactly what separates FaZe Clan apart from so many teams in the Call of Duty World League right now. That is top-level play calling right there. And we see them break it, find some more hill time, and mount this colossal lead that they already had against Elevate. And they're just forcing them out towards this helipad, which is the next hill. So expect to see FaZe arrows move towards that section of the map.
Yeah, something to highlight, too. We're hopping on with Desire. This is the man who replaced Rated when he was on Elevate. You know, he jumped to Red Reserve, so Desire is going to be the replacement here. So definitely a lot of pressure coming into the first event as a team for this one, for him to step up for the squad. Seeing, I believe he spotted both players from the side of FaZe, finds one, not going to be able to pick him up though, and now the complete back helipad control is going to go to them. Zed is going to be the last player left alive inside of the hill. All of his teammates are spawning over there on that wall run. Zed gets a nice little hit, not going to do much, finds one on Clay, and now the kills are going down. His teammate support is going to be there, and an excellent hold by the side of Elevate.
Yeah, and that right there, that engagement that Enable won on to Desire was actually really big. Despite having the first shots, Desire loses the gunfight and gives up that pressure that they had on Helipad that you can see Clayster is prioritizing very well for the team. Reedy and Watson come through, get those 2 kills, and find themselves some scrap time, but FaZe is going to just chalk that up as a loss, go towards middle map, and try and get control just like they did in the beginning of the game.
See, and one of the things to kind of shut down FaZe, you know the positioning of where Clayster is typically going to be. He's going to be your anchor. He's going to be holding those long lines of sights with the AR. He's a player who always runs that hard line. Now, hard line is going to get you quicker towards those streaks, get you more points as the game does progress as well. He's a player that you can easily shut down by bombing some jammer grenades back there, blackout grenade, anything you can to try to shut him down if you get that call and you know Clayster's there. But they're not doing a good job of that. Now, the plus side from this, he has no streaks to work with. He's passed halfway towards that camo, which is good, and he's sitting at 14-8. But you need to find a way to slow Clayster down. We know how much of a hype man he can be, and he lives off of that. He picks up a nice 2-piece there, spots one more. He's not going to be able to get that one. Reedy finally shuts Clay down inside of the hill.
Yeah, if Clayster's in his comfort zone, you might as well call the series right then and there. You have to answer to him here. And with them having that 50-second lead, we do see the Elevator starting to put some more numbers on the scoreboard. It's at least not as bad of a beating as they were getting in the opening moments, but still, FaZe is not going to let that lead slip.
So far, an all-around great game played so far from FaZe. Slowed down just a little bit, like we said. There was a 70-0 lead at one point. Now you're going to see Elevate try to go for the spawn flip here. You're going to see Arrow 1 and 4. That's going to be Zed and Watson pushing the player over here in medbay. The player in the back, that is going to be Enable. It's a man you definitely don't want to spot from range with the MV4. And he's going to pick up a huge 2-piece. I don't think people understand how big those 2 kills are. That completely shuts down an Elevate push, forces them to spawn commissary as well. That was a big 2-piece by Enable to hold this setup that FaZe Clan has.
So 3 players are from Elevator coming in from commissary. 1 is going in middle map, and he should be dispatched of pretty easily. Zuma reads that, takes him down. Now the rest of Elevate has to work at a disadvantage in this push, but Watson finds the 3-piece, and that is massive. Being outnumbered and having to come in from such a vulnerable position, he still finds these 4 kills in a row for his team, and he just now stops.
I can only imagine the words that are coming out of Watson's mouth as soon as he picked up all of those kills.
Inaudible screaming.
Not safe for work, to say the least. But now FaZe is going to claw back to get possession of this one. 15 seconds left in this hill. The rotations are already coming in. Something that we saw in that first rotations, Elevate. They had that early rotation. They had a nice setup, but we saw the nice play call coming from the side of FaZe. It looks like they're going for something similar here, but instead of Enable this time, it is going to be Clayster with the MV4 working in back cave.
So this is a similar situation we saw on the previous time we were on Junkyard Hill, right? Graveyard Hill, excuse me. We see Elevate has control, and FaZe was looking to set up a pinch, but now they have 3 players on one side of the map and then 1 more on P3. I don't think Elevate knows that player 6 right here, Enable, is there. So he could set up a pinch here, and it could work out very well for them if they play it well.
The Scarab is coming into play. That's going to put a player weak, and that's a lot from what we see. You get that Scarab, it gets him weak, and then you're able to pick up the assist easy. Nobody spotted Enable. Zed picks up a nice 2-piece. Enable gets the opening brick. He finds one, spots another in cave. Is he going to have to pick that one up? No, he is not. It's going to be Zed coming out on top, and he finds himself on a kill streak of his own. That is going to be at 3. Last 20 seconds looks to be going towards Elevate. Nobody from FaZe in any mood to contest. So it looks like they're just going to try to pick up the Elevate players as they come out on rotation, but you see the spawn that attached just got all the way on the other side of the map, spawns right next to Rita. So this is such a toss-up of who is going to get control of this commissary hill, but so far all kills are in favor of FaZe, and they are causing Elevate to spawn all the way in garage. Things are looking good for FaZe Clan as we are coming into what could possibly be the final hill of the game.
Look at how much distance Elevate has to cover if they want any hopes of even touching this hill. They got to get to the hill, and not only that, take control of Helipad, but that's so much valuable time that's going into FaZe uncontested as they're also staggered. Clayster finds a kill onto an Elevate player and spawns Reedy way out towards the second hardpoint on the map. So this is going to be them fighting outnumbered and fighting at a disadvantage. Attach is going to find the triple. No, runs out of ammo for the triple.
Runs out of ammo, like you said, is not able to pick up that one, but Clayster is doing the dirty work inside of the hill on a 3-kill streak as well. Now 15 seconds away from taking this one, but Desire is going to be able to pick up 2 kills from the back. He's on a kill streak. The pinch is coming in now. Clayster needs to stay alive. He will be taken out by the hands of Zed. So now, what is FaZe going to do here? It's going to be all going towards Elevate, but now the Trinity Rocket is going to be coming into play. That is going to be from Clayster. Zuma kills himself with his Scarab, and Attach is able to find one there on Desire. We're going into the last rotation here. FaZe should be able to take this one. Just needs 5 points here at the central rooftop.
5 seconds separate FaZe from completing the brutal beating of this hardpoint against Elevate. Starting off with, what, a 70-0 lead in this hardpoint, and they're about to close it out with about 100 points in the lead. It's been a very, very impressive run from FaZe in this hard point so far, and Elevate has just not been able to have any signs of life, except for what we saw from Watson in that one moment.
That's what you love to see from Clay there. It wasn't the final seconds of the game, but a lot of people don't do that. Pop that camo just to try to stay alive in the hill. Worked out perfect for them, and it's going to be attached. He's going to be the player there in your final kill cam, taking out Reedy, and FaZe going to win that one in a dominating fashion.
Yeah, FaZe just looked like they were winning that one from the very start. It was looking grim. They had that 70-second lead, as I mentioned, where Enable didn't even have to get a kill yet, and Reedy on the enemy team couldn't find a kill until they got to that second hard point. So it really just spelled trouble from them from there, because they were just able to snowball that lead. We saw Clayster, as we said, once we got to the halfway point of hard point, he was over halfway towards his camo. So it's just really scary when you're staring down a confident Clayster in a hard point.
He's a man, like we said, if he's getting going, he's getting hyped. It's basically, if you're a FaZe fan, you're sitting there, you're like, wow, we're going to win today. That's as simple as it is. He lives off that hype too. But like we said, if you know the positioning of where Clayster is going to be, that's one of the things where you need to pull out the jammers to try to counteract that. You know he runs hardline. You watch his streams, you know that every single time.
Yeah, especially on Breakout, we've seen Clayster running hardline, but since before it really became the main meta, he would run it whenever he knew that his team was going to have to play around him. He would actually switch to an NV4 class that had hardline, this is before when he played both the K-Bar and the NV4 for the team. But getting into Retaliation, Search and Destroy, whose side are you on for this one? Following that hard point that is, of course, very devastating and a swift defeat of Elevate, do you think that they can sort of bounce back here, come together, and find a victory?
I think the Search and Destroy, I don't think Elevate's going to be too demoralized with this. I don't think it's sort of something that they're going to be so bummed out by that loss. It's going to be like, FaZe 100% is going to take it. In my opinion, I think FaZe is going to take it, but not 100%, by any means. I think it's going to be a close one, but I do see FaZe coming out on top of it. Like we said, when you have Clayster playing as consistent as he was, and everybody on FaZe looks like they're clicking, which is what we sort of see at the beginning of tournaments for FaZe. They have everybody clicking, and it's sort of as the weekend progresses where things slowly start to, they start to slow down for the side of FaZe as well. But I do have FaZe taking this one. I'm going to say it's going to go to a round 9.
See, this matchup here in Search and Destroy is a little bit difficult for me, just because we have seen that FaZe in their group phase of the Global Pro League for Stage 1, they did not have the greatest of run in Search and Destroy as their game mode, right? They still had a decent performance. They came out second behind Evil Geniuses, but the Search and Destroy is where you could see that they were vulnerable. However, the fact that this is Retaliation Search and Destroy is what makes me feel that FaZe is going to have a bit of an advantage here. I think that this is one of the stronger Search and Destroy maps for this team.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think it favors them too with the MV4 play in a map like this as well. When you look at the EU side, the first thing that comes to my mind personally when I think of an EU team, I think of the aggressiveness of the team and how quick they play. And now maybe if this was like a throwback Search and Destroy, I would have Elevate taking this, if you want me to be completely honest with you. With a map like Retaliation, where it's going to be so AR heavy and you have Enable and Clayster are going to be running those ARs, it's going to be hard to win with that. I mean, Enable, he's been the most consistent player for FaZe throughout the entirety of Infinite Warfare thus far. I'm going to say shaky, but it's not really shaky for Enable. It's just we're so used to him dropping very good numbers for the team. But I mean, when you have Clayster and Enable like that, it's going to be hard to shut him down. But Search and Destroy is a completely different story in terms of how you play. One of the big key moments, the big key highlights for me as well is Clay going to be running that sniper? Because we know on a map like this, sniping can be very rewarding trying to get that first pick, but it can also hurt your team as well. That's kind of like the story of sniping in Infinite Warfare.
So to sort of set the story a little bit here for FaZe Clan, there's been a lot of discussion surrounding them within the past month, and it hasn't been great discussion, right? When we see them get outperformed by Evil Geniuses in the group stage, you think, who are these guys? What are they doing? This is the first time that FaZe Clan, throughout the entirety of Infinite Warfare for major events, didn't place first in their group phase of a tournament. Evil Geniuses was able to outplace them and qualify for the Call of Duty World League and COD Champs. We also saw that they've been considering roster changes with the controversy going on with Gunless for United and some of the issues with Zuma's hand and everything, and how they almost went into this tournament with a replacement. These aren't good storylines to have going into an event. So this is a team that I'm going to follow very closely throughout this weekend.
We would have had some Jackie Moon action. Player coach coming in. Reap would have been, you got to suit up, you got to pick up the sticks once more. That would have been really interesting to see, but in terms of would it really been such a competitive time for FaZe, it wouldn't have been.
Now, you said Jackie Moon. I'm going to let you know right now, I will not understand a single sports reference you make that does not have something to do with LeBron James or Steph Curry.
I think Jackie Moon's from the movie Will Ferrell.
I don't even know that either.
I think it is.
It sounded like a Coach the player thinks, I was like, oh, sports.
But anyway, it's good that Zuma was able to come play. Like, you know, he's putting his health first. He just says he wants to be well rested for stage 2, come champs as well. Like, that sort of makes sense. We missed it, but he's here. Clayster had the root canal as well, which, I mean, it's very, very painful as well. So, but anyway, you guys are seeing the quick run through here of Retaliation, Search, and Destroy. However, right now you're seeing over by the A site, you're not going to see a lot of action there. You're going to see a lot more than it used to be in the past, because since the bomb site changes, but you're going to see site B. Lots of offensive hits are going to be there. You're going to see a lot of the action going down.
So loading in. Looking through some of these classes here, we're seeing Enable with the NV4, something he's been donning over the past few months. He's going to be met by 3 players in red on the side of Elevate from the bridge side. They're trying to blow up these vans and everything so they don't blow up in their face and kill them. They stay alive and get a little bit of distance here. 2 players are going to be met on that bridge, but the 1 versus 2 engagement will go in favor of Elevate as Enable comes through for the trade and backs up with his life and the bomb still in his hands. Look on the mini-map, though. We see player 1. That is going to be Clayster by himself in a 1 versus 2 engagement. He left Enable all alone there with the bomb, and now he has to clutch a 1v2.
Yeah, you look at the players who's going up against Zed and Watson. They were playing back-to-back for those trades, something that FaZe failed to do there. But now Enable's going to be left alive in a 1 versus 2. You see the arrows wrapping around. It's going to be 8 and 5, Watson and Zed. And Enable's going to be pushing into bedroom right now. Has the advantage from long range. Needs to get something going here. Has 30 seconds to work with. Looks like he's favoring over towards his A side. And it could work out perfectly in terms of the timing here for FaZe.
Yeah, and
Enable has the go-ahead to get this bomb down right now.
And here, this is just a 50-50. Like, Enable has no idea where they're at. All he knows is that in about 3 seconds, they're going to be coming for him. So he has to get into a good position to watch the bomb site so that they can't just bait and switch for a 1v2, but also catch them off guard if he can so he can have 2 individual gunfights, and that's not how you do it.
Yeah, shaky right there. Went for the jump. I think he, like, slipped off the edge a little bit there, so his shots are pretty shaky. The nice little team kill coming in there from the side of Elevate as well. Watson is going to be the player to get the defuse there, thus putting a 150 away from the Scarab and getting closer halfway towards that camo play there as well. So Elevate is going to take the first round there away from FaZe. And like we said, we just saw the little mistakes that they made, not playing together to play for those trades too. Enable had an NV4, but found himself in a little bit of an awkward position there in 1C. Yeah. That's not really a place where you want to be. Usually an NV4 player, once they get that bomb down, they try to run to at least another side of the bridge and try to get those line of sights. But now it is going to be Elevate on the attacking side, and Zed is going to be your bomb carrier.
Most of the Elevate players are working their way through Plat here, and they have no FaZe players to answer to it. As you can see, 3 are wrapping back from bridge towards actually the Elevate roster's original spawn. And they do have 1 player on the flank to see this coming, but it looks like he's giving up that choke point right now in favor of getting more bomb site presence.
Yep, and there's going to be 1 player sneaking up from behind. That is going to be the new man to the Elevate roster and Desire. He's going to be able to find the first kill there on Attach. So now man advantage going over towards Elevate, and that bomb is down as well. But you look at the arrows for the side of FaZe. They have a good pinch coming in here. Player number 4 is going to be the entry frag, and that is going to be Zuma. He will be taken out. Now Clayster is going to be left last alive, and Elevate throws another round on the board, now up 2-0.
Yeah, that pinch was difficult because Elevate knew exactly where FaZe was going to be coming from, right? They knew they were going to be flooding in from the stairs. They had Desire on the flank for the players that were behind them at Broken. So all Elevate had to do was hold that left trigger.
See here as we load in, it's going to be FaZe going on the attacking side once more. See if they decide to switch it up here. Like we said, I talked before the game, I kind of favored FaZe just because of the MV4 play. Like I said, Search and Destroy is a complete different ball game compared to what a respawn would be. You see Enable, he's pushing through to that green van. The calls are now going to come in from Elevate. You automatically see the arrows all lock over towards Plat, looking downwards. And now trades are going to come in. So now it's a 3 versus 3. And Enable is still alive down low with the bomb. The flechette is going to hit. So that's going to give them some info. There still is 1 more player down. But B bomb site is completely open. The only player looking towards it is going to be Reedy. Has a small line of sight, but if he pushes on, he's going to be able to get that. But Watson comes around. He takes out Clayster. Another engagement probably coming here from Zuma. And I believe that is going to be Desire. Zuma gets a nice little wraparound. Nice trigger discipline coming from him. He spots him. He's going to be able to pick up the kill.
So Clayster right there was caught in another 1 versus 2 situation. He was holding the flank, to be fair to him. So I think he's mostly playing for information for his team. But still, that's going to make it a little bit tougher for his roster to try and close out this round. 35 seconds left. We see that Elevate actually decides to back up towards the Cathedral and play a much more defensive role and try and let FaZe come to them and cross their line of sight.
Now let's look and see in Watson's eyes what he has the view of. He doesn't have view of the bomb, but has the cross going into 1C. Now the bomb is going down there as well. It's very close to his streak, so it's crucial Watson stays alive, and as we say that, he's going to jump out, get very aggressive. He's not going to be able to pick up the kill. Reedy spots Zuma. He's going to be able to tag him out, gets him down to at least one shot, but nobody's going to be there to trade it as he's the last person alive. Still firing some shots down, pinned down from the players from FaZe. 30 seconds to work with. It's gonna need to be a miracle here. The FaZe players, they're playing back-to-back now, so they should be able to get the trades if one does fall.
That death from Watson right there actually feels like it was more than one death if you're on the side of Elevate, with him being, actually we might see a 1 versus 2 opportunity here. 12 seconds left on the clock. It's going to be a 1v1 between Reedy and Zuma, but no, Zuma's actually behind him and should be able to finish out this round for the side of FaZe Clan. But what I was mentioning there about Watson's death, he was trying to play for his score streak, just 150 points away from it. And when you hear that bomb go down, you know you're playing against FaZe. You should know that it's Enable, and you should also know that he's going to have an NV4. So for him to just jump up right there when the first thing Enable's going to do is aim down sights in front of him, I just feel like that's a really weird gunfight to make, even if he was challenging it to let his team train it out.
See, that's where it comes into like doing your homework, right? The bomb carrier is usually the same, and every single team you look at, there's one person who's going to be carrying that bomb almost every single time, and the guy on FaZe, that is going to be Enable. Now it's going to be Elevate back on the attacking side. Zed with the bomb in his hand once more, playing this plat area, same thing they did the last round, it paid off for him, but Zuma is going to pick up the first kill there. That one's going to be on Watson, but immediately going to be traded out there by Reedy. Another kill does come into the kill feed. It's going to be Clayster with a sniper. We talked about the impact the sniper can have. So far, I've only seen him use it once, but he's able to pick up 1 kill, and that puts him up in the man count as well. Now Zed and Reedy are rotating all the way back over to B. It looks like the 3 players from FaZe are trying to come around that flank, and the timing could be perfect here from Plat.
So you see Elevate, they're trying to play this man disadvantage as well as they can, but Clayster having that power position of being on Plat is just so devastating. And now we have Zed in probably the least advantageous position of the map, which is Bike Shop. He's going to try and get out of there as quickly as possible. No one from FaZe spots it, so he could catch someone off guard here. Still loses the gunfight somehow, and FaZe is going to find themselves tied up now at 2-2.
Very shaky there from Attach. It almost looked like it didn't like have time to react. I mean, he had the K-bar out, just couldn't spot the player going over top. Zed almost picked it up. We see Attach gets there. Clayster would have been there directly for the trade anyway. So that's what we said. Going back to the basics of Search and Destroy. Search and Destroy 101, if you'll say. Just playing those trades, especially when you're just the last 2 alive. So now, FaZe is able to get 2 rounds in a row, looking to make it 3 here, favoring over towards this A site. Clayster's been locked and loaded with this KBS in hand, so let's see if he's going to be able to pick up any more here. Trying to get the jump up over top, but it's going to be Enable the player to pick up first blood.
Oh, Clayster just barely whiffs that shot, but it's fine. FaZe Clan does come out with a first blood regardless and 1 retreating player. That should give them a little bit of information as to like where they can position themselves on this map, as Elevate is inevitably going to have to retake. But no, FaZe is actually going to opt not to plant the bomb, and they're going to wrap back towards Broken. Interesting play call here. Let's see how it works out.
It definitely is interesting to say the least. They still have 1 player over there. That's going to be Zuma to maybe try to make some noise, but it looks like Elevate's getting a good read on this. Sort of like, if you guys haven't put the bomb down, we just gave you the site. Something is fishy here. Now you see all the players from Elevate wrap through. 1 player is going to be positioned up on top of stairs. That is going to be Desire, and 2 coming from the flank, but Clayster's going to be able to pick up a kill. Enable picks up 1 as well, so now it's going to be Zed left last alive once more. He's going to be able to find the first kill there on Clayster, but now it's a hefty task for him. Needs to get the 1 versus 3 as well as the defuse. He has 40 seconds to work with.
This is such an anxiety-inducing round of Search and Destroy right here. FaZe leaves the site, then runs down the street on bike path to try and get this bomb down. Clayster jumps up to Plat with a sniper in his hands instead of pulling out his pistol, and it all ends up working out for FaZe anyway. So they come out and they finish Zed here off, who was on bridge in a 1 versus 3. The play call worked out for him. It was just a really weird one to make.
Yeah, Elevate got ahead on it, too. They're sort of like, all right, we just gave you up the site completely. We saw a player on bomb.
Right.
We're not getting this notification within the next 10, 20 seconds. Something's up. They got the nice read on there, but it just came down to those final kills, and FaZe was able to capitalize on that. So now it's going to be Elevate. It's going to be Elevate attacking. They're going to be pushing over towards this B side, but looks like they're going for a delayed push here. But the entire FaZe team is going to be coming for that wraparound from bridge side. Some gunfights are about to be going down right now. Bomb is going to be positioned inside of Bike, and Watson's going to be able to pick up the first blood, putting him closer and closer towards that camo.
So we see Enable and Zuma acting as the front line right here. Clayster still sitting inside with a sniper rifle and a pistol. Hopefully he's picked up a K-bar for a dead body there in the hotel. That could work out really well for his team. He would have a lot more comfort into where he can be on the map. But if we look through the eyes of Elevate here, we're watching Desire. He's escorting his bomb carrier over to the A site. They're well aware that they're going to be met by FaZe players on the bridge. One of them is going to be Clayster, aiming down sights through the scope of that sniper rifle, finds a kill.
Reedy's going to be able to pick up one. Looks like they're trying to go for a pinch here, but the FaZe players are going to go ahead and run. Knowing that this player in Graveyard is left alone, they're coming into the pinch of their own, and it's going to be Enable picking up that kill there on Desire. Reedy now left last alive, and that's what you love, right, with FaZe. They get the call that somebody just died in the back. It makes it 2 versus 2. Immediately, they run straight to the guy in Graveyard knowing he's left last alive. Then they just know to turn around. He's going to try to come for the trade. So again, the amount of rounds that we've seen here in this Search and Destroy where players have been split and they make them pay for it. Nobody's there for the trade, and that's what you love to see, making them pay for the mistakes. FaZe has done it, Elevate has done it in this game so far, but that is now 4 rounds in a row for the side of FaZe Clan as they are attacking once more. 175 away from the Trinity Rocket is Enable, getting very close to that Centurion as well, and does have the Scarab locked in.
Now keep in mind, everyone at home, one of the more recent updates to Infinite Warfare is that when you plant the bomb, you do not get more progress onto your payload, so he will not be able to get his Centurion from that, but it does give him good progress towards his score streaks, as well as progress towards possibly winning the round of Search and Destroy, which is the end goal in all of this. So he's playing back and broken, maybe waiting for someone to get too aggressive and go for a flank here, because they did send Desire to do this earlier on in the game. They could do it again.
The setup that FaZe has is good right now. You have somebody watching the flank, somebody holding a power position on plat as well as inside of the hotel lobby. Kill trades are going to be going down. Enable now gets a call to hit that wall run. He's going to be passing a player. That is going to be Watson. He has the camo to work with and a sniper of his own in his hand. And Desire is going to be able to take out Zuma. So now it's going to be Enable and Attached left last alive. Attached still opting to go towards this plat area. Needs to try to link up here with Enable. And that's what they're exactly going to do. Enable's in a position to trade with that MV4, pushing down onto that staircase. And Watson is going to come out on top of that one. And just like that, Zed and Desire both go out, take out Enable. Another round win going in favor of Elevate.
So that play call right there from FaZe, they did this earlier on in the game where we mentioned that Enable was left by himself, even though Clayster was trying to pinch for him on bridge. They did it again here. They sent Enable towards the bridge to sit in that corner while all 3 of them pushed towards Bike. And I just find that so odd that they're sending Enable, the bomb carrier, potentially into the face of several Elevate players, right? So he's pretty much just a non-factor in their push, and it's weird the way that breaks out. But they're finding themselves up 4-3, so if they feel like that's going to work for them eventually, that they're probably going to keep trying to work it.
The Centurion does come into play there from Enable, puts it right down on that B site. One player's coming from behind. That is going to be Reedy. He's able to take out the first player. That is going to be Enable. And Zed takes out Zuma. The Centurion's already going to be out of play. Now Zed does get this bomb down as well. One player pushing inside a bedroom. Clayster's going to be able to clean that one up. Should be a gunfight going down here between Attach and a player on plat. That is going to be Watson. First shot is going to go in favor of Watson, but not going to be able to clear this one up. It's going to be a heavy task for FaZe to get this. 30 seconds left to try to make something happen.
Watson does have access to his payload, so not only does Elevate have the man advantage here, they have the payload advantage. And once again, as we get into the later stages of Search and Destroy, that's where those payloads really pay off for teams. If they can get that advantage throughout the entire S&D, and they can use them towards the end, they can close out the map. But we see it's tied up again at 4-4.
Whew. A very, very close Search and Destroy, to say the least. Zed going to be the player here in the final kill cam. And FaZe just saw it sort of all over the place in that round, right? There was nothing that they could really do. They tried to get the team structure going there, but Elevate was all over that. They were winning those crucial gunfights as well. We know how important plat control is, and we saw Attach fall there as well. So now we are heading into an attacking round for FaZe here.
So we saw that round that Elevate just won. Enable used the Centurion. Elevate was able to plant and then destroy it. They have access to Watson's payload, and it looks like Zed and Desire could get theirs if we end up getting to around 11 here. So that actually spells a little bit of trouble for FaZe, who really will only have Zuma and the possibility of Enable to work with.
Yeah, and this is where if you're FaZe, you're telling Zuma, you're getting close to that reactive, just keep pushing forward, be that aggressive player that we know and love.
He wants this assist. He wants either the assist or the kill here.
Equal kill trades coming in, so now it's a 3 versus 3. Zuma's going to be able to pick up the kill there on Reedy, now just 1 kill away from getting that reactive armor. We know how crucial that can be, especially in such a close Search and Destroy match that we are seeing now. So let's see what they're going to do here. You see the bomb carrier just sitting in the back. That is going to be Enable. Clayster's going to be positioned over towards Bar. Zuma just doing everything he can to stay alive. Desire and Watson need to get something going. Looks like Desire's actually just a couple kills off of getting that Centurion as well. And it could be crucial for Watson maybe to utilize this, but it'll also be smart to save it as well. But it's just situational of active camo. We don't know what's going to happen here.
So we have active camo in the hands of Watson, and then Desire is just a kill away or an assist away from getting his Centurion. He has access to the Scarab, so if he wants to use that to get an assist or a kill, then that'll be pretty big for Elevate in these closing rounds here. But Azuma with that reactive can just pick a gunfight to pretty much insta-win if he can activate it at the right time and capitalize on it properly.
Yeah, this is just sort of like a little meltdown coming here from FaZe. They're in such a good position, but Watson is going to be able to get taken out there. Now 1 second left, last man standing in the final round is going to go there towards Elevate. Now 5-4. And we just talked about the FaZe collapse. They tried to get that structured push going in, and you have to give 100% credit to the side of Elevate working together. I believe it was Desire and Watson working side by side to get that one going. They were able to get that initial pick, which was Desire's kill, and then they were able to go off of that. They were able to get the pinches down, and they were ultimately able to make FaZe choke on that round there as well. Zed going to be the bomb carrier once more, and now they're pushing in towards Bike Shop. B site is completely wide open. The trophy system does drop as well. Only one player in position to contest this one is going to be Clayster in the back market, but Watson's going to be able to draw first blood once more. Still does have the active camo as well.
Watson, the player that was ordered to watch the flank here, finds the first blood and forces FaZe Clan to back off with their tail tucked between their legs towards Bridge. Now we see a bit of a staggered FaZe setup. Clayster's over here in Bike Path completely by himself as his teammates die on the opposite side of the map. I think he was trying to work some sort of a flank or a pinch there, but the man advantage of Elevate overpowering them, and it looks like they haven't even had to use their payloads yet this round, Dirk.
Yep, and Clayster's going to be able to find one. That one's going to be on Desire. So trying to climb the mountain. He's going up rock by rock. Still needs to deal with Reedy, Zed, and Watson from the side of Elevate. Spots one over there by the back tank. Reedy spots him as well. Tosses the flechette. He's going to be able to get him weak. No flak is what he's going to have. Clayster is going to be able to tag him up, but he's not going to be able to get anything to show for it. Now 3 players are pushing towards. He does have the active camo as well. He's going to decide to pop it. It'll be smart here to reload. He's going to go ahead and run straight onto this bomb site. Now he can utilize the bomb, the chest high cover, but one player's going to be chasing from behind him. That's going to be Watson. He has the camo as well. Can he get this kill on Watson? No, he's not going to be able to. And Watson's going to be able to finish that one off. Search and Destroy going 6-4 towards Elevate.
Now, do you think that if Clay reloaded, oh, well, no, his camo was activated anyway, so it was going to be a tough gunfight regardless, but I thought that if he reloaded while he had camo on, he could have won that last engagement there, but the camo versus camo battle, the payload battle overall goes in favor of Elevate, who had the man advantage. If you don't have people alive, they can't use their payloads, obviously, so great S&D right there from Elevate. Some not weird, not bad, but just weird, sort of questionable play calling from FaZe going on throughout that map. We saw Clayster that he seemed that he was out of position on multiple occasions.
Yeah, like we said, it was just a lot of little mistakes coming from that game. And I think the biggest one that we have to highlight was just the kill trades when 2 players are left last alive, not grouping up together, finding themselves separated across the map. Happens to FaZe more times than Elevate, and look, they ended up losing the game. But like we said, that's Search and Destroy 101. It's so basic. But then again, it was also those play calls. I think it was the 2 rounds ago when we saw it, the FaZe players pushed in towards that hotel lobby area, and it was when Desire and Watson were alive. Desire was able to pick up the first blood. They made it a 2 versus 2. One player over by scaffolding was able to take out Zuma, and then that's where everything just sort of fell apart. So it was just a great all-around Search and Destroy from Elevate as well. But guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. So grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a snack. In about 3 minutes, we'll be back.
and welcome back to the Call of Duty World League Anaheim Open 2017. I'm Fox. I'm joined here by Dirk, and we're getting into game number 3 between FaZe Clan and Elevate. We're coming off of an Elevate victory on Retaliation, Search and Destroy, where we saw some pretty well-structured gameplay from them. Some great flanks. They were able to shut down a lot of the FaZe plays they were setting up. Clayster seemed to be getting caught out of position quite a bit, and that felt like that was the story of that Search and Destroy. But in this uplink, it's a different story because we've seen how strong FaZe can be in their respawns.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to that Search and Destroy, we brought it up time and time again in the pregame. It was just sort of the sniper play. What's it going to be like? When you're in those positions with the sniper, I mean, it doesn't really matter if you're Former, if you're Clayster, whoever you are with a sniper. It's your main focus is getting into that position where that sniper is going to be most effective, and that can harm you as well because you know if you get into any close quarters engagements, you're relying on the EMC to try to win your gunfights for you. It's not going to do that. So having a sniper kind of gets you overthinking a little bit, gets you second guessing. A lot of teams don't truly practice with a sniper. They don't really, when they play tournaments or whatever they play here, even at events, people just opt to, I'm not going with a sniper. It's just really what you feel comfortable with. You have to be able to turn and snap on players very quickly there. But like we said, that can harm your team a lot. But give credit, everything to Elevate. They were able to win that Search and Destroy fair and square, just making FaZe pay for their minor mistakes.
Absolutely. Getting into this uplink here, if we look back to one of the more recent tournaments that these teams have played in, we're going to see the Stage 1 playoffs, groups, and bracket play results where FaZe actually got stomped at uplink by a couple different teams, namely Evil Geniuses, Rise, Fnatic. They were able to stomp them mostly on Throwback uplink. But getting into this map, how do you think they're going to stand up against Elevate? So this new Elevate roster.
In a Throwback uplink, I believe that's the map we're going to be playing. I'm just going to check. Yep, look away just to check for a second. So it's going to be a Throwback uplink is what it's going to be. I think this does favor Elevate in terms of the ERAD play and how they do, but it depends. Are we going to get Zuma who's going to go off? Are we going to get the attach that's going to go off? Because we know that it's not going to be completely well with the AR players. But anyway, guys, you're going to see the Pool C graphic up on your screen. You're going to see everything sitting at 0-0, well, because the games are going on right now. So something will change there, but it's going to be FaZe Clan, Evil Geniuses, Team Elevate, and Bittersweet, the team coming through relegation. If you guys don't know, that's Mox and Spacely, Lacefield, and Llama God, a team that completely annihilated throughout the entirety of the relegation there as well. So they're definitely a team for me to look out for. But in this Throwback uplink, it's going to be another close one. I feel like for some reason with this Elevate team, like we said, people still underestimate EU teams. They still underestimate Splice, even though they just won the playoffs. There's a lot of people that don't give them the credit they deserve and put them into the spots they deserve. I think it's the same with Elevate, but they're very fluky. They're not ones that stay super consistent throughout this. This Elevate we're seeing, pretty good so far in the Search and Destroy. How are they going to translate that into the respawn?
Yeah, because if we take a look at the hardpoint, it was not looking good. It seemed like they had no problems wanting to just challenge outnumbered. They couldn't seem to read any of the plays and pinches that FaZe was setting up on the hardpoint. But they do have the opportunity here on this Throwback uplink, because when I say that FaZe lost this map every time in the Pro League, I mean they got stomped. There were games where they just didn't even score, and they were losing by double digits. So I think it's going to be a very tall order for FaZe to try and bounce back from that. But I still feel that their strength and respawn overall as a team could put them over the top here. Now, Clayster's actually starting this out with a sniper, so let's see where he opts to start off the game with that.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pays off for him. Throwback uplink is going to be game number 3. Sniper going to be positioned over here looking up in top food. Enable's going to be able to draw the first blood, and Clayster picks up one. That's going to be undesired. Tries to snap on the second, but just like that, it is going to be 3 players down from the side of Elevate. Now this drone is progressing forward. It's going to be in the hands of Attach. They should be able to get a nice little one shot here, and are they going to be able to do that? No, Attach's shot falls short there, but 1 player left to follow it up. That's going to be Zuma. He gets taken out, and now we're going to see a nice reset here coming from Elevate. Zed is going to be the player in control of the drone.
Target practice for Clayster, as the range that he was playing at, was very easy for him to find a kill right there. It still doesn't result in a kill, or in a score, excuse me, for the side of FaZe Clan, as we see Elevate is able to fight right back and take the drone, toss it on the opposite side of bike path. So FaZe coming up off spawn, continues to try and put some pressure on that side of the map, and Zed just crushes the soul of Attach in that turn on. That was ridiculous. An excellent slide kill from Zed.
Welcome to World Star Hip Hop Attach. You're going to be on the front cover for that one. That was nasty what Zed just did, but still they weren't able to get anything coming for it, but it was a nice little turnaround. Now let's see how FaZe is going to attack from their own base. Drone going to be in the hands of Attach once more. He's carried it twice now. He's going to go and toss it off the map for a reset. So now it's going to be going right over to the middle map area towards the trains. Reedy is going to be the player there from Elevate to try to shut down the push from the FaZe players, and he does just that. Now as the push in towards Ticket here, just waiting for his teammate support, goes ahead and tosses that drone forward for yards.
So I mentioned the double kill right there, that turn on that Zed got onto attach. Nothing really came from it here. FaZe was just able to reset. Elevate got a little bit of distance with the drone here, but you see it's just stopped dead in front of Bowling. So unless Desire can use his positioning right here alongside Zed to make something happen, it'll be all for naught. Two players in FaZe playing some base defense. They have the E-Rat of Zed, who he's just so dangerous up close, especially if he can slide around and abuse those wall runs. And we're still not seeing any points on the board for the side of Elevate. There it is. No one in range to intercept it. That's one on the board.
Yeah, I mean, it all started off there with Zed overextending and going into the enemy base and picking up those kills. From then on, it's just waiting for your teammates to try to wrap that drone around and go forward. They got a one-point play, and that's really all you want. On Throwback, you're not necessarily going to see these huge numbers being dropped in a game mode like uplink as well. So that's just something to keep in mind in this. Unless it's a complete onslaught, that's the only time you're ever going to see a whole bunch of points drop. And now it's going to be Elevate has the 1-0 lead. Still 2 minutes and 20 seconds left here to play as well. But let's see if FaZe is going to be able to string anything together. Looked hot to start off this one, but ever since then, it's slowed down for them quite a bit. The aggressiveness from Elevate has had FaZe's backs against the wall ever since the start of this uplink.
FaZe moving up through Barn here. They're going to be met by two different Elevate players. Clayster shuts down two of them on his own for the double kill. Enable finds Watson. They're staying alive in the enemy base. So if you can continue to do so, that's going to be dangerous as FaZe can continue to rally here. Elevate is spawning up towards the blue side. They're sending one through middle to underpass to try and act as a cushion here, and he might be able to catch Enable off guard. But there are still three FaZe players surrounding the objective that they have to answer to.
Attach is going to go ahead, bob and weave, and he's going to be able to make that one connect. So now 1 for 2 in this game here, but now the lead separating these teams is just going to be 1. Now Elevate going to be able to slay out just a little bit, but you have Enable. He's starting to get things going. And as I said, he does get taken out, shut down from that 5-kill streak as well, but he was a big reason FaZe was able to get those points on the board. But now Zed, the monster with the E-Rat, who's been going off so far in this game, sitting at 12 and 8. Let's see if he can continue this progress. Pushing up in towards this top ticket area. He's going to be able to find one more. That's going to be Zuma. So now 2 players dead. Trying to hunt down this last player in Bowling. That is going to be Enable. Let's see how he plays this one. He takes out Watson. Desire does drop as well. So now they should be good to get this drone and start a push from their base.
Zed is alive on the flank. I thought for a second that FaZe might have lost track of it. Looks like some players did, but Enable was able to catch him just after he takes down Clayster. So now we see a reset on both sides, but FaZe still comes out with a little bit of an advantage on this mid-map control. It looks like Elevate wants to try and swarm them from underpass and mid.
He tries to throw the drone down just to kind of throw it out there, but it bounces back, rolls down, back to where they all are now. 4 players down for FaZe. This is what's crucial. You need Zed to push up into that enemy base to try to pick off those kills. He should be able to spot one coming from around blue side. That's going to be on Enable, but Enable gets a nice turn and snap on, and he's not going to be able to pick up that one there. But now Enable and crew just trying to do everything they can. They get the nice defensive hold there thanks to Zuma. And now they're going to be able to push out of the base towards blue.
The 1-point play doesn't connect right there, so FaZe is going to take that and try and play it as a turnover, moving up blue street with it. They're going to be met with some players inside Barn here. 2 players both fall, and the rest of the team being on respawn spells trouble for the Elevate roster unless Desire can answer to it with a big defensive triple kill. That is a massive play in the final seconds of this round. And it looks like we're going into the second half with the score 2-1 in favor of FaZe.
Yeah, that was great from the side of Elevate there. You see Desire, you got that big 3-piece before the drone ended up going into his hand. Ultimately shut it down to make it so, in a sense, it's still a 1-point game, but they don't have to go for that dunk to try to tie it as well. So a great defensive hold from the side of Elevate, and like we said, it's all thanks to the new guy, Desire, being able to pick up those kills, pushing through Barn. So now heading into the second half here, Clayster going to be using that KBS once more to try to get some early picks.
So we saw early on, they were able to open up with 3 kills in their favor, but it did not result in any points. Still electing to employ it on this side too. He whiffs the first shot, is taken down and punished for it immediately afterwards. I thought he was going to try and use that for the NV4 battle since he went top food this time, but Reedy is going to punish him for that, and now Elevate has the drone opportunity.
Yep, Reedy's going to go ahead and toss this one up into top foods, but now it's just going to be sitting. FaZe does have control. See what they opt to do here. They know Elevate players are sitting outside just waiting. Zed is going to be right up in the face of the action, sitting at 17 and 13. He's going to be able to find one, so make that 18 now. They should have the push here, but one player stands between Elevate and the portal. That is going to be Clayster. The drone toss is going to go up, and it is going to miss.
Another whiff.
They should be able to get a reset here, but no. Thanks to the excellent slaying around the base area, they're going to be able to try to make an attack happen here, but now Attach needs to go big and take out Watson. That was a big kill to try to open things up for FaZe.
Attach several players just around the corner in front of him. We see that failed offensive play from the side of Elevate. Might come back to bite them here as Clayster, Zuma, attach and move up. Watson shuts down all three of the aforementioned players, but the 1-point play still goes in. The defensive play was not enough to stop the play.
So far, like we said at the beginning of the round, it was FaZe looking like they were going to be in control, and Elevate was able to turn it on. But so far from what we're seeing, FaZe has excellent control of this game, and just like we said, controlling the entire tempo of it, to say the least. Attach's going to be positioned over middle map. He's going to be able to find Zed. That FTL jump is going to be ready to go. And now we know Clayster is one of those players, when he had the FTL jump in uplink, he found out a little way to throw the drone forward, FTL, and catch it. So maybe he kind of taught Attach a little bit of that, so we could see some little showmanship coming into play. It can benefit you greatly. Now all 4 players down for Elevate. This is where they need to push, but the spawn coming right on top of the base. That is going to be from Reedy. The drone toss is going to go up, and it is going to be whiffed, and now it is going to be Elevate. But that spawn there from Reedy.
The best word I can put for it is unfortunate. You see Reedy taking full advantage of it right there, finding himself a double kill, 2 headshots, making swift work of the 2 enemies he was presented. He now also has access to the FTL jump and control of the drone. Let's see what he can do with it as his team pushes up with an odd way to push it. They have 2 coming in from blue side, 2 coming in from the opposite side of the map, and FaZe just going to spawn up in the middle.
But they toss that drone forward, then it does bounce over towards that market side, which is ultimately going to reset that drone. Now Attach finds himself a 2-piece. Everybody's starting to get close towards those payloads. The main guy we're going to be watching right now is going to be Enable. 1 kill away from getting that overdrive, and we know how crucial that can be in uplink. Basically guarantees you a 2-point play. So let's see how he does play. It spots one more in the middle map. Now he does have it. Finds a second as well.
Oh,
and
dead.
straight, the drone goes right over. Now he's going to be overdriving there, but no, around the corner comes Watson, and he's going to be able to take him out. So Enable, smart play, trying to use that one, but does it just a little bit too early, and Watson makes him pay.
Yeah, Watson came up big right there to stop that play. I thought once he killed Zed, that there was going to be no one really to answer from the side of Elevate, at least effectively, but Watson definitely comes through. Is able to shut them down. Zed finds a kill on mid-map despite being weakened. He's working his way towards that Scarab and wants to stay alive even more so for the reactive armor, but they might have a read onto exactly where he's at. And now it's up to FaZe to sort of work around that and play to take him down.
The 2-minute warning has passed, and down by 2 is going to be Elevate. Watson has the drone in hand here. They're going to go up for the 1-point toss. Are they going to connect? And yes, they do. 1 minute and 30 seconds left for Elevate to try to at least get the lead in this one or just tie it up. Desire has that overdrive ready to go as well. One more player from FaZe pushes up into Ticket. That one is going to be Clayster, and he takes him out. But if you're FaZe right now, you don't want to get content and try to play that base defense. You need to keep the aggressiveness going on the side of Elevate. That's what's been working from the start, and that is exactly what they're doing.
So just a minute left in this uplink, just above a minute left in this uplink. Let's take a roll call of the payloads here on the side of Elevate. Desire has his. We see that Clayster is just seconds away, a kill or 2 away from getting his payload. So, in the final minute here, expect to see those players surrounding that drone, trying to make something happen. A dunk goes on the board. Elevate has a lot to do in just 45 seconds if they want to come back into this game.
That is the first nail put in the coffin of Elevate in this uplink, but Desire's going to opt to pop that overdrive. He picks up the drone as well, trying to make some forward progress. They might be able to get a 2-point play here. Nice use of the pass feature, going over towards Watson. The dunk comes in. Now 30 seconds left. They have no utility to work with other than the reactive armor if Zed is going to be able to pick up a few quick kills here, but nice defense coming in from FaZe to start off this last 30 seconds.
Watson looks like he's about to get his payload as well, but Clayster getting that active camo is going to be so big for his team, as well as we can see Zuma. If he can get a, I don't think Zuma's going to get it by the time this game ends here, but they do have the point lead by 1 point, and just 15 seconds remain on the clock. And there are more FaZe players surrounding this drone than Elevate. They might be able to close it out here, Dirk. 5 seconds on the clock. Elevate is not in any position to score. That's going to be the end of this uplink.
They try to go for the toss over top there, and they're not going to get it too little too late. Reedy did have that active camo ready to go as well, but they weren't able to get that one going. But a very, very close game, nonetheless.
Yeah, and I feel like the story of that uplink, there were so many moments where Zed was being such a nuisance and able to get in a position to get like a high-impact kill, or what should have been a high-impact kill, but it felt like Elevate wasn't really on the same page, and they weren't capitalizing on a lot of the big plays that he was making. And I think that there were a lot of small plays that he was making that they could have capitalized on, but they just kind of got swept under the rug because FaZe would answer back to it faster.
And if you were watching the kill feed at all during that game, the amount of times you saw Attach getting a two-piece, 2 kills in a row was absolutely insane. I think I count at least 4 just going through the entirety of that match. But what you guys are going to see is how we got to this point right now. Best of 5 between Elevate and FaZe Clan. The first map was a breakout hardpoint. Score for that was 250 to 144. It looked ugly for Elevate from the start of that hardpoint.
Oh, for sure. It was a very one-sided affair. If you missed that hardpoint, FaZe punished them for at least the first couple minutes of that game. But then we saw Elevate start to answer back a little bit. Just FaZe, they had that lead in the beginning and they weren't letting go. Getting into the search and destroy here, we see Elevate coming out on top 6-4 on that Retaliation. I mentioned that I felt that FaZe had a bit of an advantage there, but it seemed like they were out of position quite a lot, and mostly on the side of Clayster when they were trying to execute these plays. Now we look at the uplink here. This is one of FaZe's weaker uplinks, and I think that's why we see this. The score is so close. They win this one just barely 5-4. So Elevate, making things a little bit more interesting as we get later on into the series here, but you also have to keep in mind that FaZe has very low 3-0 potential. They almost never win in 3-0 victories.
Yeah, they definitely don't. I mean, it's just because, like in that search and destroy, those little mistakes that they do make, the uplink was very, very close. They didn't really have an answer for Zed. There was nobody really going toe-to-toe with Zed. There's multiple times where you saw him just cruising around the enemy base and them not really doing anything to shut him down as well. Now, on a map like Scorch is where we're going to see a lot more E-Rads coming to play. You're not really going to see the MV4. It's just going to be K-Bar and E-Rads throughout the entirety of this one. Maybe the occasional RPR. Just brought out by some people. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
We have seen that a little
or
bit
if you're fastball, you're bringing out an FHR on this map. But so with Scorch Hardpoint, like we said, I brought up, I keep saying it over and over again, EU teams love to play aggressive, especially Elevate. They're one of the things. You look at Watson, and then the new pickup Desire as well has had a pretty good series so far playing with this team for the first time as well, but you have to look at FaZe. Zuma and Attach pretty slow there. I'm not sure if Zuma ended up getting his payload. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know if
Zuma towards the end there?
Yeah, I don't know if he got, I don't know
no,
if he achieved his
did
payload.
not.
I think he had, I think it was like reactive.
Yes.
Yeah, so he wasn't able to get that one either. So it's just when you have those big payloads that you really do need to get, and you don't get them, it's going to hurt you greatly.
Right, so let's take a look at the box score for that Throwback uplink. As you can see, a very close game and similar performances from the side of Zed and Enable in terms of kill output. We saw that Zed, he just wasn't getting the follow-up for the plays that he was making for his team, but Enable had that follow-up, a 1.41 KD, 3 points on the board. And that's just an awesome performance out of him.
It's really what you just expect from Enable from FaZe Clan. That's a player that every single time the match loads up, you need to watch him because he's the guy. If he's not playing well, it's going to be almost impossible for FaZe to win. How often do you see Enable have a bad game and FaZe take the win? Usually never. When he struggles, that's when the entire team starts to struggle and everything's just sort of a meltdown from here. But in a hardpoint, that's one of FaZe's strongest game types. You have to favor them in this one. But like I said, I think it's going to be another close one. Very aggressive play going all around.
Yeah, and what you want to see from Elevate, if you're an Elevate fan at home, is you want to see them go into this hardpoint confident. They have to know that FaZe doesn't have very good 3-0 potential. They could possibly take another map right here because at this point, they've only taken the search and destroy. Reedy, one of the most confident players when it comes to European Call of Duty. You know he's still boiling over the top with confidence right now. He needs to spread some of that to his team, and they have to bounce back now.
That's what I love about the EU scene as just a whole. I feel like every single player in the EU scene has that bone in their body somewhere that's just confidence. They don't back down from anything. They speak their mind too, which you just gotta love, especially. It makes for great interviews with the players and everything like that as well. So that's one thing I don't like. And like you said, the whole Reedy, the Aches rivalry with all that stuff about NA and EU, and if you guys missed out on that, you just got to dig up some old tweets. And you got to go to Reddit or something. You just got to look it up.
Reedy's a very entertaining person to follow. He's very entertaining. I'm going to have my eye on him throughout this map right here.
Looks like I mean, I bet he's a nice guy, but from the outside, looks like a really, really nice person. But when you're playing him and the things he probably says, you're probably like,
whoa, what is this character switch, right? Like,
who are you?
Getting into the Scorch hardpoint here, though, he's going to have a tough roster to face if he wants to sort of show what that confidence can do for him here. Now's the time. FaZe Clan finds themselves up in this series and in an advantageous position as they get into their home game mode, hardpoint.
It's going to be Desire and Zed running the E-Rads. K-Bar is both in the hands of Reedy and Watson. Then from the side of FaZe, Zuma is going to be running the lone E-Rad, attached with the K-Bar. Enable pulling out the MV4. I believe Clayster is going to have a K-Bar in his hand as well. But the first initial time going to be going over towards Elevate. Desire is the first player inside of the hill. He already has a kill to his name. But Enable is going to be able to get a big two-piece to break that one, followed up by a Clayster one-piece.
All right, so all of FaZe is surrounding middle map. Expect to see them hug some corners and try and read exactly where Elevate's going to come from. I was just going to say, they need to send one player over either to drill side or to wall run side to watch for the flank, and they do just that. They actually send 2 over, and it's going to be Reedy that finds a kill against one of them. He finds 2 different 1v1 engagements here. His teammates come over for support, and FaZe is collapsing, and Abel's trying to answer back, but he can't get the rest of his score streaks because he's outnumbered.
And now, if you're FaZe, you're looking for Zuma to go off. He's running, like we said, that lone E-Rad. He's a guy you need to put up those big numbers if they want to find success in this game. Off to a slow start right now, sitting at 2-2, but starting to pick things up. Watson's going to be able to shut him down, though, as he makes that last push inside of the hill. But now early rotations are going to be going over towards FaZe. Now, I like this play here by Zed, just playing it patient, trying to see if he can catch a player off guard from FaZe. If he turns a corner, he's going to be met there by Attach, just waiting for his teammates so they can get ready to try to go in for that push. But FaZe getting some very good time off the start of this hill. Looks like they're going to be pushing into Factory.
All right, so let's see how Elevate decide to work this. They're working at 3 versus 4 because Clayster was able to get the first blood onto Zed. So FaZe will be working at an advantage for the remainder of the fight. It's going to be up to Reedy and Desire to wait for their team because they still have a FaZe player coming off spawn behind them, and that's Zuma. They take him down. This spells trouble for FaZe. They're getting pinched from elbow and from the top side of this warehouse, and Nabel doesn't care. He shuts both of them down.
Yeah, but now it's going to be Zed and Watson left inside of the hill. They are going to pick up the rest of this time. And now you look at the map, you're going to see Desire's already going to be set up over towards Hangar. One player is going to be pushing in. That one is going to be Zuma. It's going to be a big gunfight coming down to determine who gets a spawns for this hill. Zuma's going to be able to dodge and weave and stay alive. He finds Reedy. Trying to find one more here in the back. He does spot Desire, get some shots onto him, but the kill trades are going to be coming in. Zuma gets taken out, and Enable takes him out as well. But now that there's 4 players down for FaZe, spawns should be in their control. But look how close they're spawning. You can thank Zuma for coming around there, gets in those good spawns, and that player positioning in mid-map, I don't really know why they're there. They're blocking off those spawns, and they're not going to be able to get those back. So now Zed and crew going to be left alive inside of the hill. He's going to be joined there by Reedy. Now Clayster just doing everything he can to stay alive. Sitting at 7-5 is he. Trying going on a 3 kill streak. Does have that hard line. 50 off of the Scarab as well.
There we go. Oh, if he could have stayed alive right there, that actually would have been big for FaZe. Zed is trying to make something happen here in these last 20 seconds, but I think he realizes he's going to need his team for this push. So, acting like a rat, digging into a different entrance, he finds an opening kill to distract the enemy team enough for Elevate to push in with him, and they take control of this hardpoint. That was another big play set up initially by Zed to help out the rest of his team.
And this is what you don't want to see if you're the opposing team. If somebody's running hardline like Reedy and they start to get some things going, it's where it can really get ugly. If you let him get those points when they initially go to the hill and get those, and when he gets the kills as well, it's multiplying how many points he's getting per kill, and it's going to get him very close to that streaks as well. Now has the Scarab 300 off of getting that Trinity Rocket. Now, Trinity Rocket bombardment can be huge on a map like this, especially at the hill that we're currently at, which is going to be Drill.
Reedy thinks they're looking for him. No one's coming close enough to really be able to jump into him while he's thrusting up in the air. He moves over to the hard point, hoping for his team to collapse, but they're all still stuck behind security. They find the gunfight wins anyway as FaZe gets a little aggressive and pushes up on them, and Elevate comes out on top in that engagement.
Excellent hold coming in so far from Elevate with 20 seconds left. Opting to go with the both pushes out on the observation deck and then on the security side as well. Zari is also going to be able to find another one. That one's going to be on Clayster as well. So now you see him just trying to get these cutoffs before we do rotate back over to that middle map area. It's going to be Enable. He has that E-Rad in hand, does have the laser sight on it as well. So now you're seeing the MV4 being put away and more E-Rads being come out.
FaZe has control of middle map, but still an Elevate player behind enemy lines in the warehouse next to them. That's going to be Watson, who takes a kill onto Attach and also puts damage on the Clayster, which gives Reedy the opportunity to slide out and finish the kill. So a clean sweep from Elevate onto FaZe is going to force them all to spawn out towards Cave. So now we have to see how they decide to work from this disadvantage, because they also have Zuma spawning out way back towards Turbine. This should be a lot of uncontested time going into the hands of Elevate.
Yeah, and Clayster coming around here on that pinch was able to secure the spawns for the next hill if they really want to set up for that, but look for them to make one more push before they do decide to go. And Clayster is starting to get things heated up here on a 2-kill spree. Throws that flechette inside of the hill, trying to find one more. He does have the hard line on as well, but he is going to be taken out from behind, and that player who came from behind was going to be Desire. He was able to shut down that FaZe push, but now they need to start focusing up for this next hill. He gets taken out.
If you're just tuning in, FaZe Clan is one map away from closing out this series 3-1, a fashion they typically close out a lot of their series. But we're looking at Elevate, who's putting up a great fight and finds himself in the lead for the first time in hardpoint in this series. We're seeing some great breaks from them and also some excellent setups once they find that setup. So I think that they could put up a great fight throughout the rest of this. However, FaZe Clan finds himself in control of a big 60 hardpoint that is Turbine.
The Scarab comes into play there from Attach as well. He is now 250 off of that trading rocket. It's going to be crucial for him to utilize this cover right here. But he doesn't need to worry about anybody coming into the hill. It's going to be Clayster picking up a nice two-piece, but now you're going to see the push coming in through Factory. Reedy burns that FTL, and you see all the scores pop up with the hard line and everything. 25 off the Scarab there. They're going to get the last 20 seconds on this one. Looks like FaZe might try to make one last push at this, but you already see 2 and 3 on the minimap. Attach and Enable going through. That is going to secure them to spawns for Hanger. Excellent rotation coming in from FaZe.
I think 2 of the players just ran in and knew they had to just push out and just try and get the kills they could, because even if they died, they just spawn up on the new hill anyway, because all of Elevate's still stuck over there. So now, this should buy FaZe a decent amount of time, as Elevate still has to like group up together. However, we do have Clayster spawning out towards Turbine, who can also come in for a flank, especially playing off of the Scarab information. He knows where they're all coming from, and that's 3 swarming in from mid.
And Reedy needs to get things going here, but he's just waiting for his teammates to try to get into position to attack from the front. He's not going to win that one-on-one gunfight with Zuma. He's going to come out on top, but now the big kill's coming in once more. We see Attach pick up a nice two-piece, but Zed gets one of his own. Enable's going to be able to shut him down inside of the hill. Enable 14 and 14, 1 minute and 40 seconds of hill time, doing a little bit of everything, but things are looking so good for FaZe here. The last pinch going to be coming in from the side of Elevate. Enable getting some shots down, not going to be able to hit on any. One player coming from behind, that is going to be Zed. He's able to get that cleanup kill there, and now the last 15 seconds should be going over towards Elevate.
Zed, I feel like, is having a great hard point. Of course, we're not seeing it represented very well on the scoreboard, as he's only 14 and 13. I just feel like a lot of his kills have been very high impact. You see that he has a decent amount of time in the hill, which is coming up on 2 minutes here. So look for him to be sort of the X factor for Elevate if they're going to win this hard point and force the game 5. Guys, we're going to drill, which is the final hill in this rotation before we start things back. It's been a very evenly matched hard point the entire time, and FaZe is in control.
They definitely are, but now they just broke that 200-point mark, and that's where you start worrying if you're the other team. They have a nice setup coming in here. Enables in the front lines. The trophy system defense does come in. He's working his way towards that Centurion as well. Spots one player jumping up and down from the lower cliff area. Not going to opt to go for that gunfight, but one player tries to come in to help. That's going to be Zuma. Now Enable getting very, very aggressive, and that's where you see the setup start to break. Clayster not going to be last alive. He finds one, does have that camo ready to go, but you see him, he gets a nice beat down off the map there. 20 seconds left inside of this hill, currently being contested, but it's going to be the new guy Desire coming in and making some damage.
The new guy Desire acting as the front line, finding 3 kills. That's big for Elevate, who just sat in front of a 20-second deficit on that drill hardpoint. They're trying to claw their way back into this, what was an evenly matched game, and they're doing a great job of it because of him. Now they have middle map control. FaZe, they're separated all across the map. Enable has been very big so far in this map on middle hardpoint, so let's see if he can do it while he has an E-Rad in his hands.
Yep, Reedy's going to be able to pick up a kill here as well. Now 50 off of that Scarab. There's going to be one more player around the corner. He's going to get that pre-firing. Nice shots coming in from Reedy, but he's not going to be able to clean up that one. It's going to be Zuma coming out on top with the nice two-piece. Clayster does have the active camo to get ready to break as well. Score now 219 to 211. Elevate trying to do everything they can to come back in this one. It starts right there with that Watson kill on Clayster. Excellent job of holding down this middle hill, but now the pinch is coming in from the side of FaZe.
Desire, 28 and 18 right now, has been such a factor, as well as Zed, who doesn't have as impressive of a kill column, but he has been contributing in terms of high impact kills. Clayster here is going to find himself getting that scrap time for his team, while the rest of them are setting up towards Turbine. Elevate looks like they're flooding the rest of their team towards the security section and Elbow.
And now this is where the push needs to come in here. Desire and crew pushing forward. Zuma's going to be able to find himself one. Watson utilizes his payload, gets inside of the hill, but he is going to be taken out as well. Now it's going to be Zed and Clayster. He's trying to fight off the whole entire FaZe team right here, doing everything he can to stay alive, try to get his teammates. But now, look at the mini-map. Zuma just spawned all the way out by Hanger. Now this is where Elevate needs to push in. Watson's going to be able to get the entry frag there, but it's immediately going to be traded out. But now Elevate is going to take control. One player left in the back, and it's going to be Elevate's control here at Turbine.
Watson following up that play so beautifully for the rest of his team. 5 seconds separates FaZe from winning, but 20 seconds separate Elevate from at least staying in this game towards the closing moments. FaZe closes it out just like that in 3-1 fashion.
A lot of people watching from home are probably thinking in their mind that this was just FaZe. It should have been FaZe the entire thing, just a quick 3-0 like that. But we brought up, people underestimate the aggressiveness coming from these EU sides. And on a map like Scorch, where being aggressive is going to pay off, where it's really going to benefit you, you saw it there. Right down to the wire it went, but it came up with FaZe. Zoom and attach, a little bit of a shaky game there, but you can thank Clayster for going off and saving them in that one.
I think we have to talk about Enable's consistency throughout that map. I think that he was doing quite a bit for the team. Although he wasn't finding multi-kills like Zed and Desire were, I think that he was always in the right position for his team and milking up that hill time, right? So I think that it was a good hard point on both sides here. FaZe just edged them out. They had the fundamentals down just a bit better than a lot of teams in the Call of Duty World League right now. And they close it out in 3-1 fashion, as is typical of the FaZe clan.
And if we see this Elevate team continue to play like how they did against FaZe, a team that's ranked them top 3. They can never really. It's sort of like a toss-up, right? It goes in between Optic, not the current United with Swirly. I think they kind of drop a little bit. So I'd say top 3, top 2 team in FaZe. If Elevate's able to do that and continue it throughout this entire group, they have a good chance of placing at least second.
The thing is with Elevate, though, since the beginning of the year, since the beginning of this Infinite Warfare season, we've seen time and time again their problem is failure to close out series. The thing is, oh, we should have won this. We almost closed this out. Like, oh, it was a very close. Yeah, it's a close series, but almost winning is the same as losing. So we're seeing a picture of it right here. Despite these last few maps being very close, FaZe is finally able to close out the series in a 3-1 fashion.
Yeah, you guys are going to see their breakout hardpoint 250 to 144. FaZe completely dominating that one. Then we went to the Retaliation, Search and Destroy. Very, very close game in that. 6-4 went to the side of Elevate, and then Throwback uplink, a game that went right down to the wire. FaZe was able to come out on top, and then the most recent match you guys just saw was Scorch Hardpoint. That one went 250 to 229. It looked like at the very end, Elevate might have been able to make that comeback, but they weren't able to get those breaks. It was sort of like the saving grace in a sense when Zuma spawned all the way across the map. That was their cue to try to push in.
Right, and they read that, right? They knew they would be coming in with a man advantage, and they pushed in. And it was just, I feel like there was decent play calling across Elevate for that hard point right there. It just came down to who was winning the more crucial gunfights throughout the map. And let's take a look at the box score here. As we said, very evenly matched up until those closing moments when I said we were coming down to our final rotation. FaZe was holding down Drill so well. And you see it represented right here in the score, 70 to 29.
Yeah, I mean, all the points that came from Bridge for the side of Elevate was literally on that last rotation in the Bridge that we just saw.
Because otherwise it was Enable there, right?
86 seconds for them in that one, but you just kind of see the spread. Hanger Hill was the least that the side of FaZe got, but then Drill was where it hurt Elevate most. They really just couldn't get anything going there, but you look at our key players, Clayster and Desire both dropping 30 kills. The KD for Clayster 1.25, and then Desire 1.50. 66 seconds for Clayster and 56 for Desire as well.
Yeah, Desire, I think I feel like we didn't highlight him enough in the early stages of the game, but he was contributing quite a bit to his team in that hard point. Off the back of Zed as well, who was setting up a lot of these great plays that Elevate was able to make. We still got to credit Desire for that excellent performance at Scorch hard point there. It just didn't translate into a win. So guys, that's going to be the end of this series. We're going to hop into Optic Gaming, facing off against Fnatic in our next series here on the Bravo stream. Stay tuned for more Call of Duty action.
Clear.
Get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get